So there we go. All right. Hi, everybody, again. Thanks for joining session number 8 of Introductory Late Egyptian. And topic for today will be reviewing the homework. And that's going to be the last session, I think, before we switch over to the book itself. And I'll talk about that towards the end of the session. So yeah, then I would say without much further ado, let's do what we normally do, namely go through the sentences one by one, everybody picking one, and then we can go over any questions or any grammar points. Some of you had put like elaborate grammar point documentation in the answers. I think that's super, much appreciated. There were also some questions along the way, so let's go through those one by one. And the first 3 exercises were English to Egyptian. So yeah, first one was the boy finds a flower, and had given a few words there. If anybody could give me the transliteration and the no, not the hieroglyphic version, of course, but how would you say that in late Egyptian?
I can take that.
Awesome.
Yeah. So it's pa heret gem wa heret. Hereret.
Okay, so gem wa hereret, yeah. And that is correct. So there are multiple options here for heret. Heret is a word that is child. Because then there's Sherry, could also have used that one. I think one of you, had Judd, if I'm not mistaken. So there are multiple options what you could have taken. I think all of them are correct. There may be differences in meaning. For example, Horus and Seth in the, in the contendings of Horus and Seth, they are referred to by this word, which I don't think makes it into Coptic. And my impression is this could be more like youngster than like a small child, but I'm not sure, because actually at one point in time, Seth says to Horus, "You're just a small boy and you're not big enough for the office of your father, so that's why you shouldn't have it." And I think he uses that word, if I'm not mistaken. So the exact semantic connotations escape me. Grammatically, yeah, 100% spot on. You'll need the definite article, the boy. Then there could be a her, or we could just leave that out. And then, yeah, you'd want to have a indefinite article, which we didn't cover yet, but it's going to come up in Neveu soon, a flower. Very good.
So flower is masculine?
Say again?
So flower is masculine?
I
thought it was feminine.
It is feminine, but I don't think that's distinguished anymore for the number word.
Oh, okay.
I think. It's actually a great question. Let me check real quick. Numbers at chapter 5.
Yeah, I checked it out. Yeah, the wa doesn't cater to gender
Anymore, right? That's gone.
anymore. Yeah.
You're right. In Coptic, it does, interestingly enough. You have y and we or something like that. But that's interesting. But yeah, I thought it didn't. And the other thing it doesn't do in Middle Egyptian, I think for our Middle Egyptian students here, I think you would put an N there, wa inhereret, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, of course. Wani, it would be.
Right.
Well, with an isbe.
Right. And that's not the case anymore. I mean, I've seen that in literary text. You have like more colloquial and more literary text. And so I found some that still had like an N in there. But often you'll find it just in Coptic. The article in Coptic is just wa. And in Coptic, you would almost say the same. You don't say shere anymore. It survives in Bohairic as chroti. I'm sorry, you don't say heret anymore. It survives in Bohairic as chroti, but I think it's only plural. So in Coptic, I would say probably epshere, shine, wachrere, which is pretty much exactly what we have here, just with a different word for boy. All right, more questions on that one?
The T ending on gimme, it could have as well. Is it tested, right?
You're right. There could be a T here. That's right.
Yeah,
Although you,
so
oh, thank you. Great call out. You're right. It's definitely an infinitive. And in older late Egyptian, you would find a her here. or if it's a more literary text from the 19th dynasty, basically. Great point. All right. Let's play on this theme a bit more. Or do I want to write it in hieroglyphs, or is that going to take too much time? I guess I could.
I think you should.
All right. Thank you, sir. Test my on the spot. Now, something that's cool in all these IMEs is you can, if you don't remember the determinative, you can just type the word and typically it comes up. Let's see if that works for Gerrit. Yep, see that? So if I type Gerrit, it actually comes up as Gerrit, as the little kid. So that's awesome. Then we need Gim. I think that comes with the Y1 at the end. Y. Z1. That didn't work. Z1. There we go. Ideally, I'd want to have that stroke underneath the Y together with the arm glyph, but it doesn't work in those fonts. Gerere is written with spelled not the typical late Egyptian or classical Egyptian way, but it's spelled using group writing. So that's a different set of orthography that we'll go over at some point. So to get that sign in, I'll just write B and H dot. Stands for a simple H, though. That's a bit confusing, I know, but we'll get there. Ru Z1, Ru Z1. And I think this is Hun. Let me see. Hun? Yes. All right, there you go. Awesome. Let's do the next one. Who wants it?
I can take it.
No.
All right.
Sue.
Uh-huh. Oops. No, not Chinese. That was me. what what did Ralph call it? Full on too many keyboards disease? Yes, I have that. Okay. Sorry, Aaron, back to you.
No problem. I don't know if we want to use the her or not. Do we want to pick a standardized?
Up to you.
So her D.
Go again?
D.
Oh, D. Yeah.
Give.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Set.
Mm-hmm.
And Tasherit.
That would be correct. Something like that. And there's probably a whole bunch of parentheses I should apply. Okay. Quick grammar walkthrough.
So it's the third masculine singular pronoun here, Sue, he.
Mhm. That's right.
And then upon giving, if we leave the her in there. He's upon giving it.
Right.
It's the feminine in this case because it's a flower. And to the girl.
That's right.
Ta. Shitty.
Perfect. Mhm. Excellent. One thing I should point out, this is not the dependent pronoun. This is the suffix pronoun because it's an infinitive. So after infinitives, you just glue on the suffix pronoun. However, what you said is still totally correct because the suffix pronoun can have an extra T in Late Egyptian, which we see for all the time, for example, in Horus and Seth. So just to avoid confusion with Middle Egyptian or something, that's not the set that would come at the beginning of the sentence. Although by this point in time, we could argue, like, you would see it more if it was if you said, for example, if you said she gave it to him, it would be said her ready. Oopsie. Ready tif and not Sue.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, no Q in transliteration keyboard. Okay, nice.
Oof, boy.
Whoa.
Oh boy.
Yeah, now we're in too deep here. Okie doke. All
Can you
right.
use the direct object pronouns in this construction, like 2s?
You mean is the I would how do you say it in Coptic? Te'if or something? Ta'if? What's the I'm bad at that.
It would just
Let's
be
figure it
S,
out.
suffix S, I think, in Coptic. But
Say it again. I'm sorry, I missed it.
for the direct object, wouldn't you just use the suffix pronoun in Coptic?
I think it depends on which tense, right? Some tenses you use the suffix pronoun, and some you have to use imos or imov. And I can never remember which ones. But let me quickly see what the phenomenal status of T. Well, there isn't one. There isn't one.
I
There
seem
is.
to remember ta'a.
I want to
So
say
ta'af.
ta. Yeah, I think the same, but why is that not
Ta'as.
here? That's weird. Coptic. Such a common word. You think like this, right?
But ta would be a status pronominalis, I think, of
Correct.
the team, right?
Which is exactly what this is. Like if you have, let me simplify this a bit. I'll leave out a few of those things which are, oops, not written. If you write DF or DS, basically, and that's the infinitive, so there's a T lurking here somewhere. It actually may become D-tuf at that point in time. Ew. Hang on. Let's check that. Don't want to confuse everybody here, but how is that actually spelled? Taking a look at Cherniqual here. So for example, he has D-tuf for give him, which would be in Egyptian spelling. D-tuf. Something like this, to give him. That's exactly what I would claim what Coptic ta'a. Oops. Doesn't give me the. How do you get the? Oh, this is annoying. How do you? There we go. All right, that's what that is, because that's that form in Coptic is an infinitive, so that's a direct successor, I think. If that makes sense. So then to the question, how was that thing pronounced? There's no sign of the R anymore in Coptic. But that doesn't mean it's already gone in late Egyptian. So was it something like editus? Editive? I'm not sure, honestly. I mean, there's this double vowel, which normally means there may have been a glottal stop. Edius? Dies? I'm not completely sure. Those are the moments when I wish Christian was here. He may have a perspective on that. But I'm sure like half of the stuff that's written here is already missing in pronunciation.
Hence all the parentheses.
That's right, exactly. Let me see. Is there an alternative spelling without the T? I mean, normally I would expect it with the W here, D-tuf for the male version at least. I guess I'm going to leave it at that, unless there's more commentary.
I
was just
have
curious,
one
we
question
have-
for.
Oh, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Nikita.
Yeah, just for the dots that you use, because the redites et has a lot of dots. Is the dot separating grammatical function or why? Yeah.
That's a good point. So, and opinions on that vary, right? I mean, you could do this like Gardner style and put a, so I think for the infinitive ending, if you want to break it out, dot, and then the T would be normal. And then if you want to add a suffix pronoun, I think some people will put the, like a Coptic, put the not vertical, those diagonal, that diagonal equal sign. And that makes it a bit easier to read. So actually that's cleaner. But then I think I've seen some authors that basically have done away with this one and just use the dot for everything. I actually don't remember what Neveu does.
Yeah, I don't mind the dot before the suffix pronoun. It was just there was also this, you had the dot set, and I don't s dot t in a way. I don't know
Yeah,
if that was necessary or
no, it isn't. It isn't. You're right. I think that would do as well, or even like this.
Okay.
Thanks for the call out. And I think Ralph, you had something, or I heard somebody else say something.
No, I had asked about the suffix pronoun because Neveu talks about it as the direct object of an infinitive, but I wasn't sure if we can still use the earlier just a suffix pronoun by itself without the T that may or may not still be there.
Yes, you can. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
Actually, in a way, that would be cleaner because then you're distinguishing clearly between the proclitic pronoun and the suffix pronoun. So I think like this, S would be totally okay. Just don't be surprised if you see that extra T there and go like, what's that doing there? It's just orthographic. I think at least that's how it works. Bonus question. If you wanted to say he gives the flower to her, how would you do that? He gives the flower to her.
There, the direct object and the indirect object have to switch
Mhm.
order. Because you're
Yeah.
using the
So
suffix
you would,
pronoun.
so
So
you,
it'd be Su, Heredit, Ines,
Mhm.
Taheret, or Hereret, or however you say it.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. So the nest needs to come first, just like in the English version, he gives her the flower. The her would come first, and that's the one thing that I wanted to point out here. And yeah, to make it a bit more clean, maybe put a dot in here to her. So he, upon giving to her the flower. Perfect. Thanks, Ralph. Let's do the third one. Which I stole from Poist, if I remember correctly. He has like a little phrase book for Lady Egyptian, which is really cute. Only a few bucks. Any takers?
I can give it a try if nobody else wants to do it.
Please do, please do.
So I am bringing would be, depending on how you could spell it Dewey, like TW J or just TJ.
That's right. Hang on. Let me see if I can keep up here. TWI, yeah. Oh, J, yeah.
And then the her being optional. And bringing would just be, I don't know if it's enit or like with the T for the infinitive form.
Right. Yes, agree. I've not seen it with the T if there's no suffix behind it. Not that it means much. Yeah.
And then I don't know if there's a direct object marker. I think just the milk, the word milk after it, the set.
That's right.
From M village, I think is still masculine, so pa tima with that optional T at the end in the orthography.
That's right. Awesome, 100%. So yeah, that's exactly what it is. The object marker is a really interesting question. I found a few sentences in the Egyptian where you already have like an equivalent of the later object marker in Coptic, but it's not obligatory at all. It can occur that you have like a little M there, but most of the time there isn't. So at this point in time, you can still add the direct object just like this, like in English. Very cool. 100% correct. One, and again, that's really like in Coptic. T, ine, erote. I don't think you would say M anymore, but the rest would stay the same. The question had come up, is it M or N in late Egyptian, meaning from? Because it's not pointed out in Neveu that M. So let me back up one. If you learn your Egyptian from Gardner or something, then M, of course, is always in. That's how you see it in the beginning. And it can be a bit confusing that it can also mean from. That doesn't quite fit to our understanding in English, where inner place and former place are two very different things. But in Middle Egyptian, that's normal. And I would claim I've seen it quite a few times in late Egyptian as well. So the that usage is still there. Later in Wenamun, for example, you can find just N in its place. In late Egyptian, there's a lot of confusion going on between N and M. And for example, in Wenamun, I remember some sentences where it just says N in the meaning of from. However, you also find texts where it still says M. So I think that's pretty safe in the meaning of from. If it's from somebody, it is often MD, M plus the little D sign, which would look like, I hope I'm doing this right. This one, huh? Sorry. This one. From somebody.
Well, from like a particular place in late Egyptian, there's also Erbel, which became Ebol in Coptic.
Ebol, out, yeah, out from a place. Right. And there's some other, there's some other prepositions you can use. But this one's still pretty common, I would say. Yeah, I think that's all I can spell it in Egyptian real quick. So that would be Tui. Now it depends on whether it's a male or female person. So this or this. Ine. So just, there we go. Ine, erote, iri, t. And then if you actually spell erote out, it gives you the milk jar, which is really nice. Hang on, let me change the formatting here. There we go, much better. M, A, E, M, E. Okay, if you want. N-I-W-T will give you the city. Oh, or maybe with a T in between. There we go. That's what it would look like. Any more questions, or should we go to the next one? Oh, okay, Rebecca, you have a question. Go ahead.
Yes, no, my question is, I'm just volunteering to do 0302A. As you know, I haven't done the homework, but this looks like an easy one. So
go for it.
Can I just try? So two, and then there's a, I think it's a, well, it could be a N, tune, and there's several of them. So I've got to work out how to divide it. Tune. Yeah, that means where. Is that right?
Tune actually, or tenu is where, but it's spelled differently. It's a different word.
Okay. I'm just doing the whole thing by ear, but sadly. So then the next one I remember is hr. And that is mut.
Yeah.
I can't remember what that next thing is.
This is a determinative that you find, well, it's very common in this word. What it really is, I've seen overthrown pillar or toppled pillar is one interpretation. One of the reading group participants called it the death stick because it's very common in the word for death, which is what this is. So this is, yeah, what is it in Coptic?
Actually, yeah, it is actually a hieratic form of beaten man with axe. After a hieratic form, it is transferred in hieroglyph writing.
So you think it is, hang on, you think it is, why is this not letting me? This is so annoying. Is that my mistake? Am I doing something wrong? There we go. Do you think it's this guy?
Yep.
Okay, could be, huh? I mean, that would look somewhat similar. Possible, yeah. So yeah, it's super common after, thanks, Mustafa. It's super common after the word for to die or death. Okay.
Okay. Nuh.
Yeah.
Oh, so ooh.
That is correct overall. The last one is a determinative for small or bad things. Yeah,
Okay.
the bad bird.
Okay, so I can try and guess this. Well, mut, I know it must be death from Hebrew.
Okay,
That's a pretty bad guess.
It's a good one, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is just the way I work because I'm behind. I'm going to say of for the and
Hacker, yeah.
I don't know what that is.
Let's look it up. Ramses online. I mean, the nice thing is if you can read, then you can look things up. So let's do this HQR. And there it is. To have hunger, to be hungry. So I think it's chakor in Coptic, if I'm not mistaken. So to be hungry or hunger.
Okay, so die of hunger.
So you have the second part. Now the only question is who? Tun.
So that's not a question then.
It's not a question.
Okay. And can you? Oh, I mean, is there an tell me what is?
The her is just the for the first present. Like remember, for example, what would be I am dying of hunger?
Not
Not quite. You use those pronouns that we talked about the last time, the proclitic ones. Tui, her. Keep thinking, is there a W in here or not? I may have to look that up later. I'll keep it at it for the moment. So I am dying. You are dying. Set to a male. To a female would be, etc.
Yes, okay, I remember now. What does proclitic mean? I was struggling on that when I was trying to revise earlier.
Just that it comes glued before something else. It cannot stand by itself. It's like it's not a suffix pronoun because you put it in front. So
is it like a prefix?
It's like a prefix pronoun. Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Actually, her it's used much more like upon in archaic English.
Right. Yes. So yeah, originally this would be somebody is upon dying. Yes. But the only question would still be, which one is it? Like we already covered we covered you. For him,
we.
That's right. And it's just like in Coptic, actually. It's the word turn. This one. Oops.
Yeah, that was a guess. Without Coptic, I wouldn't be able to make any sense of this.
All right. So let me put that positively. Coptic helps.
One more question. Why did you show a frog earlier with the the death pillar?
A frog?
A
frog?
Maybe my eyesight's not, but I just I thought you suddenly brought a picture of a frog up.
Let me see. I hope it's not. No, let's see. Hefty is the word for, oops, Egyptian. There we go. So this is a man with his his hands tied behind his back.
Oh, I see. I thought it was a frog.
And there's some other versions. There's like this one, like lying down and holding
Oh, I
some
see.
kind of
That
stick.
looks like a frog.
A bit maybe, huh? And then this one here. So yeah.
Well, one of the things I struggle with because of my advanced age and the fact that I've only got one pair of glasses, which are out of prescription, is that I often really struggle to read what these things are. And then I try and enlarge them and then it disappears and goes into a fuzz.
Gotcha. Well, that sounds sort of like the way that I hear. If I miss a comment, then that's normally why. Okay, but no, well done. So the whole thing is we are dying of hunger. And let me do something real quick because that bothers me. Ba, 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 ba. Yeah, that should have a W, also in Late Egyptian. So my bad. That's in there.
Ooh. So more like the Hebrew.
Yes.
Maybe you should put it in parentheses.
I'll take that.
Yeah, generally it's written just like M and T.
Right. But it is still in, if you look at the Coptic form, to die, then you see that there must have been some kind of W glide in there. That would be, here we go, mu.
Yeah, of course.
So I guess that's where it comes from, but
Yeah.
You're absolutely right. Parenthesis makes sense to me. Let's do that.
Yeah, I'm talking about hieroglyphic writing.
No, you're
Style.
100% right. No, it makes sense. So we, upon dying, how do you spell that? Dying, like this? Yes. Of hunger. In other words, we are dying of hunger. All right. That must be from some kind of, I'm assuming, no, I'm not sure. I actually forgot the source. Could have been a workers' complaint, could have been something else. I forgot. Something dramatic going on. All right. Any more questions about this one? If not, then let's take the next one, which is from the end of Wenamun, the Wenamun report, or at least the end of the part that we still have. I'm sure it went on for a while. So he's arrived at an island and he's basically asking, does not one among you understand Egyptian? And I put this in here just to show how understand Egyptian was expressed in this case. And it's basically literally hear the words of Egypt. Sajim, or there is like a little Y stroke on top for whatever reason. Sajim, what? Medut? Yeah, Keme, huh? So hear the words of Egypt, in other words, understand the words of Egypt. And then came the next sentence. And yeah, if somebody could take that one, would be awesome.
I can try. So this would be, well, in English, I can start with the translation. And then one of them said, I understand.
Exactly. Perfect. Okay. How would you transliterate it?
Iu, uha, imu, jed.
Wait, yeah, imu. Perfect, yeah.
Imu, jed. Then tui.
That's right. And Sejim, the last one, right? Perfect.
We can add the preposition there in the middle, right? Just to be consistent with the rest.
Like this. Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, anything, I mean, technically, if we put the preposition, I guess we could put it here as well. Yeah, and any more grammatical commentary or anything else to say on this one?
So what is this construction of the first bit then? Is it
This one, right?
Yeah.
So I threw you guys a bit of a curveball there, so my apologies. This one here is a first present. I upon hearing. And then there's the super common particle in Middle Egyptian, iu. In Late Egyptian, that's also super common, but the meaning changes. In Late Egyptian, this basically is on the way to become the circumstantial, something that indicates what's going on while something else is going on. So Yuaf Hesegem technically is while he is hearing. For example, I actually looked up a few examples to show you that. Let me take the one at the bottom. Na irinik yuek emsheri. The things that you did while you were a child. Yuek, you being, as a child. So it basically indicates a oops, hang on. Something's making a ton of noise here. Mute. Here we go. It's basically indicating a circumstance. So this could be present, but it's also super common in narrative constructions. Like if you're having a story, and then we went to Paris and we sat down in a cafe and we had a cup of coffee. That would be done with the you something her construction. So that's the standard tense in like narrative passages in Late Egyptian, and that's exactly what that is. So you wa imu khajet is actually a narrative past, and it's constructed as a you plus a present one. I hope that makes some sense.
I have a question about the transliteration here. Why does that N not get transliterated at the beginning of Imu?
Yeah, Alvaro pointed that out in the homework, and I think he's absolutely right. Do you want to speak to that, or should I?
Yeah, that's the adverb. I think it's the adverbial form, right? With the pronoun. I think
That's right. So I think so. N and M change a lot in Late Egyptian. So this could also be spelled. If I ever get there, could also be spelled M. Oops, M-E-M. But then what they do is, especially during that time, like Wennemun's time, that can become an N. So I think that is actually just a way how to spell the im before a suffix pronoun among them or in them.
Yeah, it's in Neveu, page 24. Yeah.
I was just about to go there. Yeah, let me pull that up. And I must admit, until you pointed it out, I was also confused by that, because the N is something that you don't expect if you're. Which page? 20.
I really, could it be like wa ni imu? So one of those who are there.
That's what I thought at first. That was my interpretation too. But then if you look at that, that's the interesting thing. So this is how you're used to it from Middle Egyptian. And then there's this alternative spelling, which I'd seen before. And that's almost like imorph in Coptic already, right? And then you can spell that N-I-M or N-J-M. So I think that's what it is. Nikita, I was thinking the exact same thing that you were thinking. I was thinking like, oh, off among them. And then on second thoughts, no, I don't think it is. Kind of cool.
Yeah, it was just the plural determinative that pointed at that, which is strange.
Oh, I mean, this is among them, right? This is the third person in the.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, I see. Okay.
I mean, in classical, this would be.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I was going to say if we need some more conversation about it. In Jung's book, he chats about it a little bit more.
Which book?
Jung.
Oh, Junge.
Yeah, Junge.
Junge. Oh, okay. I haven't read that up. What does he say? Do you remember?
I can remember exactly, but he has about 4 or 5 sentences where he actually talks about, the evolution of it from Nim, Mim to Nim. Yeah.
Cool. I'll check that out. And there is an online version of Junge. I mean, I'm always very much in favor of actually buying the book. But if you don't have it, Junge can be found online. If you want to look it up, I'll definitely check it out. So yeah, this would have been the classical version, Zen. but now we say u simply. Okay, cool. Well done. I'm looking at the clock. Yeah, we're doing okay, although I'm not sure we're going to get through it all. So like I said, I threw the narrative past at you. My bad. Then again, we'll need it in the last exercise, where I also threw it at you because I completely missed that the circumstantial you plus heard, most of the time you'll see there's a narrative past. Although you will find it also with present tense sentences. For example, here, look at them. This is the pattern that we talked about last time, pore in Coptic. Look at them, as they are going to the cool place. You nai Quebec or something. So the interesting part for me here is that as they are going, this is clearly a present. This is happening in the present. So it's not necessarily a past tense thing, but that's how we typically find it. Okay, last sentence from exercise number 2. Who wants to take that one? Christopher, you're on the screen. You want to take it?
Yeah, sure.
Always dangerous with the camera.
To be honest, I just before 1 week before I just started to learn Akkadian and just Akkadian and looking on the other hand. Then two
Okay.
semau khafti. Semau khafet or khafti.
Yeah. 50. Is there something missing by any chance?
Sema pa khafti, of course.
That's right.
Then pa khafti and pa re. Maybe capital R. I don't know. Yeah.
Fine with me.
Pare menet.
Okay, very good.
Then two sema. There is no meaning of two actually.
Are you sure? I would claim there's something missing.
Actually, a tui.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there is meaning right now. I sema. I slay or butcher. Slay enemy or opponent of the Ra in a moment.
Every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. You got it. So that's from Horus and Seth is basically making a case for why he should.
Apophis, yeah.
Right. That's right. He's basically saying, hey, I'm the only one who can do this. So that's why I should be the successor for Cyrus anyways. I'm the big guy. That's what I do every day. Tisema, Pachefti, in Para, and Menet.
Actually, Apophis also so interesting because before Hyksos period, as I know, there is no Apophis cult.
What you mean?
I mean Hyksos period.
Oh, Hyksos period. Oh.
Yeah, there is no Apophis cult. After that period, this cult maybe created, maybe I don't know.
Oh, I didn't know this. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, you know, Apepi. There is also Apepi as a king in 15th dynasty.
Right. I think there are even two, if I'm not mistaken, but there's definitely one. Yes.
Yeah.
Very true. So, I mean, you also see that with Seth, the go away. You also see that with Seth that in some narratives he's the super bad guy, and in other times it's more balanced. This could very well have got something to do with power struggles, you would think.
Actually, Seth is more like king of Lower Egypt, something like.
There's some association there.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
after as I remember, in Ramesside period, there is also Baal in Egypt, united with Set.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. I mean, there is a text that says there's an association also with Ses and Astarte. So there is something going on with the Near Eastern, Near Eastern connection.
For example, Merneptah's Israel Stella. There is a word for Baal, like Ba'ar, and at the end of the word, the determinative is Set.
Cool.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Very cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks, Mustafa, for this one. Any questions on this sentence? It's a straight, again, a straight present one sentence. In this case, it's not I am slaying, like it's not progressive tense or something, but this is a general statement. I, upon slaying the enemy of Pre every day, this is basically a habitual, this is something that I always do. And you can use the first present for that in late Egyptian too. Not just for things that are currently going on, but for things that that happen every day or that always happen. All right. Well, then let me go to the last one real quick. So this one was from the Doom Prince. I had promised a reading section. And then as I picked reading sections, I realized they're all in the narrative past tense, which of course makes sense. I mean, because they're stories. So apologies. This is not really the present one, but this is the circumstantial version, which then serves to actually explain something in the past. So I hope that didn't confuse anybody too much. We have a few minutes left. Should we try to get through this? There's no Sumerian today, so if you guys are cool with this, maybe we can go a few minutes over. Then we can start with Neveu next time. That would be my proposal. And yeah, who
Can
wants
you
it?
make it a bit
Yeah, I can.
bigger, Aurelia? Can you make it a bit bigger? Well,
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
perfect. Thank you.
Sure thing. Okay, let's go for it.
I can begin as much as you want. I don't know. EUF, Her, Jed, and Sen, which means he was saying to them.
That's right.
I guess, I think.
You are correct. He said to them, yeah.
Yeah, he said to them.
And note that this is still the classical pronoun here, yeah. Oh, wait. Skip that, yeah. Yes, and then?
And then we have this Inek, maybe? So Sheri and Wa and Wa and Seni. Yeah, this was a word I didn't know. And Ba, Ta, and Kemet. And so it says, I am the son of, and I translated a charioteer, or yeah, of the land of Egypt.
That's right. That sentence type we haven't discussed yet. It's a nominal sentence. Basically, if it's a first or second pronoun, then you just say basically, I something. You don't need a copula. You don't need to say like I am or something. It's just like I something something means I am something. So you translated that absolutely correctly. Yeah. And Seni indeed is a charioteer. And I was wondering, how do you find that out? It's in a lot of texts that relate to military events. And then in one of them, it basically said, I actually looked that up. Nope, not here. Is it still open? Great, it's not open. Did I copy it over maybe? Yeah, here we go. So let me tell you about how would I say entbehrungsreich in English? Geez. Let me tell you about a tough job, basically. And it says the Seni of the, and then it basically says of the core of chariots, like war chariots. And so that indicates that it must be a soldier that has something to do with basically chariots. So I think that's where we know from what that actually is. At least that's my guess. Because otherwise,
like,
how
I
do you
feel like in the Iliad and stuff, you have the charioteer, the one who drives the chariot, but you also have the sort of warrior that's next to him with the spear.
Right.
Yeah.
Two different people.
It is almost same time actually. Iliad. Probably it's from a Ramesside period text.
Right. Actually, yeah, very similar times when you think about it. You think about late Egyptian and we think about the earliest of the Greek. It's kind of interesting how that goes time-wise. All right. Well, very well done, David. Who wants the next two?
Leo, what happened to the N before sending?
The N before sending, this one, huh? I suspect it could be a classicism. So you're right. That's a YN. Yeah, one of the charioteers, or is that just like the older Middle Egyptian one charioteer with an extra N in there because that's the way we used to do it? I mean, maybe he's just being very classical here. Could be. All right. I would say let's do 2 sentences each. Who wants the next two?
Mut, Herr Mut.
Okay, perfect. Hang on. You, Taif, Mut, Her, Mut. Right.
It's Aleph, not Ein in Taif.
Thank you, sir. Very true. Yes. And Christopher, how would you translate that one?
And I, oh no, sorry, not and I, excuse me. And my mother died.
As simple as that. And
Sorry, is this Tai? Not Tai F?
Tai.
Tai?
Yes, Taif. That's right.
No, but that's his, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
So she means it should be
Tai-E.
Oh, I'm sorry. Jeez. Yes, you're right. Thank you.
Which is the word representing death?
That is what? I'm sorry?
The word representing death. Which is the word representing death here?
This one.
Okay.
Let me break this out. So you is that circumstantial converter. Tai is my. Mut is mother. Her is upon. And this mood, a different mood, is they were pronounced differently. This one is to die. Actually, the first one in Coptic would be Ma'au. And this one here would be Mu. So 2 very different words. But they look kind of similar in the transcription. Hope that answers the question. Christopher, want to go on? And I smuggled an extra word in here, so that wasn't in the homework. Wouldn't expect anybody to know that one. But yeah, maybe without the blue stuff, what do you make out of the rest?
Me?
No, Christopher, sorry.
Okay.
You pa itef her eret nef get hemet.
Yeah, no F on this one. Pa iti. Yeah. Her ire Iret. Yeah, I'm mixing my transcription systems here. Sorry. Iret. Nef. And then you had at the end?
Get Hemet.
Perfect. All right. Now we just need the translation.
And my dad, or my father.
Yeah, hang on. Thanks for waiting. And my father, yeah.
I don't want to say took, but got himself, or
Perfect.
yeah, got himself another wife.
That's exactly what it means. So that's a great way how to get around that. I was wondering about that. Because literally he made himself another
Right.
wife,
He
but
made himself another wife. Yeah.
and normally in Coptic you take a wife. I've not seen either before, but yeah, that's what he says here. My father made himself another wife. And then he actually puts another word which I took out because it's kind of hard to look up, but that is, I think, mesit, which basically is like a stepmother. The word occurs in a few texts. I didn't think it was that important, so I took it out. But yeah, he basically made himself another wife as a stepmother.
Yeah, really, same thing for the Middle Egyptian. To get married is Irit Hemet.
Oh, really? I didn't know that. Very cool. So it's not that uncommon then to make a wife. Huh. Okay. Good to know.
Just a note about the possessive here. It should be pa eat instead of pa eat.
Very correct. Thank you. Thanks, Evan. Good call out. Okay.
In the word father, the E is a determinative, right? It's not. It's not
the F you mean, or the? Oh, this one. Yeah.
This is
man.
That's a
Oh,
determinative.
I'm so sorry. Where's
No.
my mind? Thanks, Albert. You're right. So it is pai eat because this is late Egyptian, and not et, which would be Middle Egyptian. So the way you do this is you put the possessive article in front. You don't put the suffix pronoun at the end. Thanks for the call out.
Sorry, Aurelio, could you zoom in again? It's hard to see the.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Do we have it right now? Let me go through it one more time. So you, pai, my, eat, father. No, this is just a determinative at the end because it's a male person. Upon, her, ire, or iret, to make. In this case, the infinitive ending is actually spelled out. Enef, for himself. Ket. Ket is a little word that means another. I think I glossed that one. Another wife, basically, himit. And then I added the stepmother part after the fact. That's what the actual text says. I think now we have it. Very good. 2 more sentences to go, and then we have it for today. Well done, Christopher. Thank you. Who wants the last two? There was a little zinger in there with this word. A lot of you struggled with that.
Yeah, I can, if anybody don't want to.
Go for it.
EUS her خبرو.
Hang on, give me a moment. Yes. Maybe, yeah, okay.
خبرو her message.
I see that you know what the word is, so yeah,
Yeah, message or messaged. There is double D, but I don't know.
Let's leave it like this for the moment. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. Then it is happening.
Maybe it's it. Yeah.
It is happening upon message something like meaning hating, hate to hate.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. There is a person determinative at the end of it.
Okay. What could that be?
Maybe it's hater. Maybe I don't know.
Could be, but the whole thing is about verbal sentences or quasi-verbal sentences.
Hated
I mean,
me.
that's right. It's actually the first person singular, the suffix
Okay.
point.
The message upon hating me.
Now, who you think? Why do you think this is it?
She because I don't know, but maybe it is like S also using like in English it.
It could be. It could be. Let me do this. I had taken this out in the original sentence. Oops. In the original homework, sorry. I had left only this part. If you saw that, what do you think that would mean?
Then I can say probably
Sorry, I'm having some serious issues.
maybe X1. Yeah. You said her message. I can say she is upon hating me.
Correct. That's exactly what it is. So that is, she is upon hating me, or in other words, she hated me. Simple as that.
Yeah. Because of it, because khabar, I just say it is happening because mostly there is much more sense with it because something like not human made.
Yeah, this is, I've seen it in some other sentences too. I mean, khabar is something that's something that starts to happen, something that comes into being. Or in this case,
Yeah.
then she began to hate me, basically. Then she started to hate me, or she grew to hate me.
Yeah.
Something like that in English. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. So this one was tricky. Well done, Mustafa. That really is the word for to hate. Normally, it's spelled more like this, and without the extra D in there. That's the classical spelling.
Yeah.
Maybe with an extra T for the infinitive, maybe, I'm not sure. But there are several texts, including this one, which actually spells it with a double D. So in those cases, when you're not sure what the word means, you're willing to look it up in the dictionary. Otherwise, it can lead you astray. And this one, of course, is...
Let's Go does have that spelling.
Yeah, Let's Go has it. Yeah, I checked the homework before I send it out just to make sure. Don't want to give you something that doesn't work. So here the clue is basically, here's the next determinative. So this probably belongs to it. That's why it couldn't be something that has to do with messy to give birth or something. But that was a tricky one. I'll definitely acknowledge that. Okay, cool. And let's do the last line and then we're done.
I can take it.
Okay, Aaron, it's yours.
UE.
Yes.
E.
How do we want to see it? Like this, I guess.
Yeah. NE. M. War. Hat S.
I guess like this. I don't know. I really don't like those many dots. I'm just going to do this.
Yeah. And I went, or I, upon going, but I went. This NE would be myself. It's kind of like a reflexive thing that we don't do in English. So I went myself to flee. From before her, from in
Right.
front of her,
Right. Literally from in front of her,
from the, yeah,
but it really just meant away from her. Mhm.
from her presence. Yeah,
Right.
kind of.
Right. That's really what it is. Yep. Perfect. Well done. So Yui Iyit Nai. Egyptian loves to do that. To put like a dative with verbs of motion. So you come yourself, you go yourself, you walk yourself to another place. Coptic does it all the time. In Spanish, we do that too. Me voy, me vengo, nos vamos. You put like a little like ethical dative in there. In English, it's not done. So it takes some getting used to. I'm honestly not sure if that's a verb here or if it's a noun. It can mean fugitive. So as a fugitive would be a translation.
Yeah.
Or is it I went myself, and then this is the first present with an M. I'm not sure if that's being used with you as a narrative past. So I'm a bit undecided. And not helpfully, Ramses online puts both noun and infinitive here. So it doesn't really explain what they think it is. They keep both options open. I'm sort of tempted to think it means as a fugitive, because that's what he is. He has gone from Egypt to that land of the prince of, what was he called? Not Narita, but Naharina. Naharina, which I think is Mitanni, actually.
Yeah, actually, it means two river. Actually, it is like
Oh, it's a dual.
dual name in Semitics. Like for example, I
Naharina,
can
yeah.
Nahrin, or in Arabic Nahrain, something like.
Cool. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And then the other one is Erchates, real quick. So before her, this word just means front. So yeah, before her can literally mean before. I think I had a few examples, like in this case, go before us to the tomb that you've mentioned. So here, Erchaten really means before us, like physically before us. But here's a very similar example from another text. Or is it from the same? I think it's the same text, just a different sentence. It's basically saying he came as a fugitive from the land of Egypt before his stepmother, basically. So Erchataf Mut, and then again that word for stepmother. So same construction. Or here, this is from the two brothers. Are you here sitting alone, or are you here alone, being alone by yourself, having abandoned your city before the wife of your brother Inpu, or your elder brother Inpu? So before can also have that meaning of like away from somebody, running away from somebody. It can mean both.
Much more in front of.
Yes, original meaning is
like leading to.
Right. All right. Any more questions on this one? I know we're over time.
If I may, just all those her that we had in the past tense today, maybe I missed something, but they don't have any progressive or continuous meaning.
No, absolutely not. Yeah, that's a great call out. So that's the narrative past, and the way it works is it looks like a first present. So it's gerade plus infinitive, but you don't use those tui, tuk, tut, su, set, etc. pronouns, but you use the suffix pronouns after you. So this is something that looks very much like a first present with a circumstantial you, but it's actually often used for the narrative past. It does not have a progressive meaning, though. It's just this happened, and that happened, and the following thing happened. Yeah, you'll see that a lot. Good call out. Okay, well, then I would say we actually covered the preliminary sessions to get ready for Neveu. So my ask for next time would be, we're going to change format now, which will be, we're going to use the book, and then the session should become more Q&A. So I would say, let's go over the sentences which are in the book, Some of them are going to be pretty complex because they're written for people who are fluent in Middle Egyptian. So we'll probably have to work through some of the examples. And I'm sure there will be interesting discussion points or Q&A. So what I propose is let's just read chapters 1 and 2 until next time, which will be next Saturday, and then go over the sentences which are in 1 and 2, and anything that you guys found worth pointing out. We covered a lot of the material already. There's going to be something new in there with the indefinite article. And I think the same will apply for chapters 3 and 4 later. We covered most of it, but not everything. I skipped a few things which I think weren't that essential, but we'll cover them now when we go through it. If some of these things are still confusing, since you're new to Late Egyptian, this will also be a good time to recap and to basically catch up. And then after we've gone through 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, so 1 and 2 next week, 3 and 4 the following week, then I would say, yeah, number 5, I think, is numerals, then come prepositions. So that's going to be mostly new stuff. And I propose we continue in that sequence with homework in between. And I hope that works for everybody.
Mhm.
All right.
Won't be a lesson Sumerian, huh? Today.
No Sumerian today. Gabriele wasn't feeling so well, and a few people had to
Okay.
cancel. So we said no Sumerian today.
Okay.
All right, guys, which allowed us to actually finish this. Not really on time, but at least we got through it. So
Yeah.
thanks so much, everybody. And see you next
Thank you.
Saturday.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.